I seen a recipe for some slow cooker chicken and stuffing that I thought looked really good, so I decided to make it. So I have 2 boneless, skinless breast, and what I'm going to be doing is cutting these in half because they're really thick. I know most of you people like big breasts, but so anyway, it's always best too when you're making chicken that it's not all the way thawed because it's very easy to cut them. Just a tip. So already I have them, as you can see, more thinly cut, and there's a little more. I guess when you're cooking in a slow cooker, it'll cook a little better this way. That's my opinion only. So let me get to my slow cooker, or crock pot, whatever you call it. So normally when you're cooking, well, you put a little water or liquid. I'm actually going to be using this cooking wine because I want to get rid of it. So I'm just going to layer probably about a good, I don't know, maybe inch, half inch. I'm not precise. I kind of wing it. And then you want to take your breasts and just kind of layer them in there. And by the way, you want to turn your crock pot slow cooker on high. And these are going to be cooked for a few hours. Alrighty. Now, per recipe it calls for around a tablespoon of garlic powder. I'm not going to really measure this out. I'm just going to wing it and coat them. And it calls for about a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of pepper. I'm only going with a half. I've got this stuff. It's very strong. And I'm going to actually be using this onion and herb Miss Dash. It's my life source. The recipe also calls for a half a tablespoon of salt. I'm not using it. I don't use a lot of salt. I don't really like cooking with a lot of salt. And you're going to be using cream of mushroom in this recipe, which has got a lot of sodium in it. So, and the cooking wine also has sodium. So that's it. Then you want to cover this up. And you're going to cook this for, it says 2.5 hours. I'll check back with you in 2.5 hours. So 2 hours has gone by and the chicken's almost done. So I'm going to go ahead and make my stuffing. Normally I make homemade stuffing from scratch, but today I had this stuff and I just wanted to get rid of it. So basically you can either use stovetop or an off-knock brand, and you're not going to make it as directed because you're not going to like put it in the stove or the microwave. So you just make it with the water, mix it together, and leave it set a little bit aside for the half hour, or if you want to make it a little earlier. And then when this is all done, it's going to go right into the crock pot. Oh, and depending on how many people you're cooking for, you want to use more stuffing, obviously. I'm only making this for 3-4 people, so I'm only using 1 box. If you have more people, add another box. So there we get the chicken. It's been about 2.5 hours. And just checking the chicken to make sure that we don't get sick or anything. So, pretty much done with the chicken, but I'm going to end up putting this back in here. First now, just set the stuff on a plate. Now you can see there's still some juices in the bottom of the pan, which is really, really good. And normally when I make cream and mushroom and use it as like a gravy, I add some either milk or water, which today I'm not going to because there's already juices at the pan. So what I'm going to do, I have to find my other tripod because doing this with one hand sometimes is hard. But I take my cream of mushroom soup, or you can use chicken or celery or whatever one you have, and you just mix it around with this. And you make the gravy, the gravy. Go ahead and get all that so smooth and delish. Alright, you're going to have some lumps because there's mushrooms, but everything else is pretty much in here smoothed out. And now that stuffing that you just got done making, or I just got done making, we're going to layer that on top of that. So I went ahead and already layered all the stuffing in the pan. And then what you're going to do is just take your chicken back, put it right on top of there. Then, and you're going to go ahead and we're going to cook that for another half hour or so. So simple, easy. And there you have it. You have deliciousness. So let me grab a... You see how it's cooked very nicely together. You have your chicken and your stuffing. If you wanted to, you could add some corn in your stuffing and have a whole meal right in there. Whatever vegetable you'd like to eat. And let me show you the chicken. It's juicy, it's delicious, and it's so tender. Yummy.